Good morning, everybody. Hope your evening went well. It was a cool one in Wichita. The moisture continues to head south of us. The severe drought in Texas is the Texas Panhandle, and Oklahoma. It's the Oklahoma Panhandle. So Texas and Oklahoma are getting their water needs more than adequately met right now, and the drought conditions are really improving. We have gotten a lot of moisture recently in Kansas, so the corn and bean crops look good here. If we'd gotten a ton of moisture, people would start talking about loss of crops due to washouts, etc. So this cool weather from Canada is kicking off big bouts of moisture where it's really needed these days. So the people in Texas and Oklahoma, parts of New Mexico, southeastern Colorado are grateful to that cold air from Canada. The biggest news yesterday was the United States announced new sanctions against Russia. More rhetoric, more fluff than actual damage being done to Russia. They put travel restrictions on many more people. They put credit restrictions on more banks. But they did not impose the kind of restrictions that would impair Russia's ability to roll over $115 billion worth of debt this year. Nor did they touch Gazprom, which supplies gas to the EU. They did get after Kalashnikov. All the people that own AK-47s in the United States can no longer buy or purchase those. So again, is substance form or is form substance? And the politician takes the posture rhetorically that form is substance. So we've gotten a speech. Won't really do much to impair Russia's ability because they don't import much from us. The sanctions don't really hurt them. They do export a lot of what the world needs in the form of energy. So this will speed up their deal with Russia. It'll speed up their deal with India. It will solidify their positions with Iran. The new BRICS-based World Bank that's in the process of being formed, that will guarantee that that's done as fast as possible. So the United States, again, making statements, doing political posturing, but not really doing anything that will impair or hurt Russia. It's almost like cutting off your nose to spite your face. So anyway, that news, since stock markets around the world selling and treasuries strengthened because of that selling. Now the issue today is, will this selling continue in the United States or not? And we have some news that could bring buying back into the equity sector. Housing starts this morning. They're calling for starts to be at 1.026, permits to be at 1.038. Yesterday's NAHB housing index jumped to 54. And a lot of that jump was based on expectations, on actual home sales. We also have jobless claims coming in at its standard. The default is 310. We have Philly Fed that's estimated at 16.9. They had been carrying 12.5 for Philly Fed, but it jumped quite a bit based on the Empire Index this week. And then natural gas inventories at 99 BCF. Which is 100 BCF is the default build in stocks and storage this time of year. So the focus will be the starts and permits, then Philly Fed, and I think jobless claims has kind of fallen off the radar these days. Nobody pays a lot of attention to it because the expectations are employment is finally starting to pick up. So down to the housing starts, permits news, and how the E-mini reacts to it. One of the things I've noticed is that when you go back in and you start looking at where support and resistance lie, you see a lot of data points here, starting at 7 and ending at 13. So this 7 to 13 area right here is going to be pretty hard to get through without some help from the news. or major selling in the ES. And if we don't catch that early, it's liable to be resistant. So I'm starting out, we're going to try to sell the 11 to 15 area, and then 19s to 23s for sell 2, but our sell zone could be as low as 7. A lot of it just depends on the reaction by the ES to the starts news. On the buy side, we have Asia starts buying at the buck. London bought at 2, so I've got a buy zone of 2 to 30. And a lot of this is predicated on the strength of the knob spread. It gained 8/30 seconds overnight. And then we'll put our other buy back down at 21 to 25 where there really is good support. So E-mini's reaction to the news, it was liable to tell the tale of today's tape. And I'd like to sell basically the 12 to 16 area. In the note, I don't think the news warrants an explosive rally higher today. I know it could be famous last words, but just the overall assessment, the impact, the context of today's news, I don't think it is market moving without some big help from the E-mini. Now the E-mini is poised for a correction, and it's been talked about forever, and everybody knows that the E-mini is on shaky ground up here, and everybody's looking to sell it, but it hasn't happened. And probably the worst thing about this stage of the rally in the E-mini is that the retail account is buying and the institutions are selling to them, so we have distribution going on right now. Okay, selling failure to take out 24, 28, and there's a lot of resistance in the 30-year, 24, 25, 27, 29, and 138 even, 138.03. So there's a lot of wood to cut through up here. And then if we do break it out, we'll make it 3 to 7 for the second sell. I remember Pete Stedelmeyer always talked about you had to leave something on the table for other traders. You could not maximize your trading targets. You could not maximize your entries. You had to give someone incentive to sell it to you and buy it from you at those particular levels. And Pete's point was that got to use a little common sense in your order placement. You can't go for the max, and as a beginning or novice trader, you always do. You miss a lot of trades. Okay, we're at 19, 17's the knob spread. We've got our 4/5 letter ledge here at 14, so we're going to make 11 to 15 buy one. And then we'll pick up, this breakdown here is 6. We'll make 5 to 9 buy 2. And a lot of this is based on just the strength of the knob spread. The long-term players are long the 30-year and short the 10 because they think interest rates are headed lower because of the instability around the world and or economic contraction. And don't ever bet against bond players' take on the fundamentals. They are generally right. Not 100% correct, but the yield curve is flat and the knob spread just keeps widening, and big money is being bet on an economic slowdown and the attendant drop in interest rates associated with that slowdown. Okay, again, gold, you know I don't like going home short gold because of, I mean, it's just, you're just one headline away from an explosive rally, but I can get short in London based on what's going on. So we have this low volume area here from 10 down to 6, and we had this structural, we have volume here and here, most recent in the market's memory. So the market did get pulled up to this high volume number in the 8 to 9 area, and it held, and we're coming down right now. So the assessment is probably the situation, the sanctions imposed by the United States, once you get past the headline absorption of those sanctions, not much has changed. So we're at 01 right now. Last rotate up stopped at 5, so we'll make 5 to 8, sell 1. And we'll make 10 to 13, sell 2. 98, we're right at support right now. It's pretty aggressive. If the housing start numbers come in larger or higher than forecast, this is not a good trade. And then the 93, 95, and I like that trade better because it is where support is. Okay, looking at the euro. Again, there are a lot of forces working on the euro. One of them are these sanctions, and where does the Russian gas go? Either restricted or unimpeded. And I mean, Germany, nobody in the EU is going to jump up and down and scream for really, really crippling sanctions to be put against Russia. And the reason for that is that 30% of their energy needs in the form of natural gas come from Russia, so they can't really do much. They can play around the edges. They can restrict travel for non-meaningful players, and their list is not as extensive as ours. So the EU is taking a fairly realistic approach. We can't cut our throats off. Germany's economy, more talk about how quickly it is slowing down. And if Germany heads into a recession, then the EU's economic recovery is cooked. Because it's the numbers we get out of the PIGS nations, France, including France, are not all that robust. So we liked the sell yesterday in the 30 to 40 area, I believe. Yeah, 35 to 45 was the sell yesterday. So we caught that really, really well, but the market hasn't gone anyplace. I think we're headed to 35, so we're going to put buy 1 at 35. And then we'll make 75.85 for buy 2. We'll see what the news brings on the sell side, 40 to 50. And then our 65 to 75. So we caught the euro support and resistance levels really, really well last night, but it hasn't produced much of a trade. Okay, crude oil was up last night quite a bit. And again, I mean, tensions in the world are increasing. Iraq yesterday failed to take to Crete. And the motivation of the ISIS fighters is quite a bit higher than that of the Iraqi fighters. And again, when you look at these top-down control armies, if you don't trust your leaders, the second the leader turns and runs or is killed, those under him tend to do that too. So that was bad news, not being able to retake Tikrit, Tikrit. And that added to it. Then the Russian U.S. sanctions have added to it too. So We were pretty confident that we could get into this 102.50 area yesterday. We made it and then some. So the break in the market now is 103. So 75 to 103 is sell 1. Take out 103, we're wrong. Then second sell zone will be 25 to 50. And on the buy side, I'm going to give it a little room this morning. I'd like to, we're going to make this 102.25 area, give or take, buy 1. Then we had this breakout from 75s, and we'll make 75 to 102, buy 2. So we are at resistance. We've got to get through 103 to hold the buying in. Okay, if we come down and we don't break that 50 level, then we got a pretty good chance of taking out 103. If the first move is down and we find buyers 25 to 50, that's when I would expect 103 to hold. If the first rotation's up and 103 holds, the short looks much better under those circumstances. So again, we like to get to our buyer sell areas on that first rotation and then see what happens. Okay, stock markets around the world sold off of the newly imposed sanctions against Russia. The biggest component or segment that will be hurt in the United States are people that like to buy AK-47s and all that go with it. It is a very, very cheap weapon compared to AR-15s and the rest of it. You can buy it for a third to half. It's a very, very reliable weapon. The ammunition that you buy for it, because Russia supplies the world market with AK-47 ammunition. It's widely available everywhere. So in the United States, if you own an AK-47, you'll still be able to trade it and swap it, but you can't buy or import any new stuff. So probably the biggest people hurt would be American gun holders, and that sure wouldn't make anybody in the administration mad. Okay, we got pretty good support in the 60-62 area. And then 53, this high volume area down here, 55. I think we're down to the housing start information. If it's much better than expected, this market can come back because the sanctions, once you get past AK-47s, aren't that strong. And if you're a Russian from the Ukraine or Crimea or from Russia itself and you can't travel to the United States, you can probably make do with other spots around the globe. So once again, the sanctions, when you get down to them, aren't all that meaningful in the overall scheme of things. We're at 65 right now. We've got volume at 69, so our sell 1 will be the 70 area plus or minus. And sell 2 will be 75, 77, pretty much where it was yesterday. And we're down to the housing starts, 1.26, so 1 point, a little bit over a million. Permits 1.038. Jobless claims at 310. I don't think anybody pays any attention to it. They will pay attention to Philly Fed. Remember, the Empire Manufacturing Index had a great deal to do with the rally the other day, and the Philly Fed is at 16.9. But the importance of the housing sector, if the housing sector can start to make a comeback, and I really don't think it can because of the jobs issue, then that would add another sector of strength to our economy to help keep it going. And as bad as things are now, we need good economic news. I mean, all these people that have fallen out of the job force, I mean, lives have been destroyed. and it would be nice to see people going back to work. It would be nice to see the economy expanding. Okay, it'll take about 15 minutes to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. In the interim, good trading, and I'll be back with you as fast as I can get there.